What's good? How y'all doing this morning or this afternoon, wherever you at in the world? Uh, FILA Sports, we're going international today. All right. First on the docket today, I'm hanging out with the Falcons UK crew from across the pond. How you guys doing?
Doing good, thank you. Very good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
Good morning to you lot over there. It's a bit of a time difference, but it's all right.
Yes. I'm glad to have y'all on, man. It's an honor having y'all on. Like I've been really trying to get you guys on for a while now. Like I'm over a year now, to be honest. So
Far too long. We're not the most reliable, but we're getting there. So.
hey, y'all are already there, man. So it was good. Thank y'all for coming on.
Really always a tall.
All right, you guys. If y'all new to the channel, y'all already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this content out with Atlanta Sports Fanatics. Hit us up in the comment section. As always, come holler at your hometown sports podcast. All right. Now, before we get into the Falcons talk, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor, Manscaped. This podcast is sponsored by Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping when you use our code FILASP 2021. Once again, the code is FILASP 2021. You go to manscaped.com. They have some awesome products over there. The lawnmower 3.0 trim, down there your private area. They also have the nose trimmer. They also have products for your beard now. So they coming up with a lot of products. They even have like lotion and stuff for your feet that I have. It's great products, you guys. So if you haven't purchased anything yet, I know the ladies out there if you haven't got your man the Valentine's Day gift, he may not get it on Valentine's Day, but he'll get it sometime soon. Just tell him hard. Your gift is in the mail. Your gift is in the mail. So once again, that's 20% off and free shipping. When you go to manscaped.com and use our code FILASP 2021. All right. So I want to get y'all thoughts. How do y'all feel about the Dan Quinn era, the Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff era, before we start really talking about what's going to happen with this team forward?
Go on, Carl. I'll let you start that one off.
Because we're reasonably new fans, so we only had like sort of 2 years with Dan Quinn, but we've obviously read up a lot on the team before Super Bowl, blah blah blah, etc. I think it happened. It needed to happen. I think when we had that, what was the season before? Did we finish on 6-2? So I think some of the fan base was still like, "Oh, get rid," because we started on 1-7 like usual. But I think this season going 0-5, I think it had to happen. I think it was the right timing. I think could have done it a couple of games before, just with how them games ended up turning out. Yeah. I think the era itself, I don't think, when obviously only being fans for 2 years of it, it was quite a successful period in aspects as well. It was only the last couple of years where it sort of went downhill, and I think the change needed. And I'm sort of glad they both went, compared to like just getting rid of Dan Quinn, because a lot of people, they do keep the general manager. And I think Dimitroff was there for, was he like 3 head coaches? I think maybe 3.
It was 2. He was there when Mike Smith was there. So normally GMs don't survive their second head coach. Like you are the common denominator after that.
Yeah. So I think it was a good time. I think it needed to happen, but I don't think the era was. I don't think it was looking back at it, it wasn't a bad era. Like Matt Ryan come in, a good 12 years with him easy. Like he'd only missed 2 games going on, so I think it happened at the right time.
Yeah, kind of the same as Cal, really. Like because we're newer to it, we didn't even see the mad successes of getting to the Super Bowl and the playoff season following that and things like that. So all we've really seen is the decline after all of the success that was had early on, and obviously from the success, everyone was hoping that was it now, like that was our level and we were going to stay there. But from what we've seen, it was probably time. I won't slate Dan Quinn too much. Like I seem to like him as a person. and everything. Like there's something about him that I could just get on with, but your time comes, doesn't it? If you're not successful, and back-to-back 7 and 9 seasons, and then the absolute shambles last year, it's definitely time.
Yeah. I never was a Dan Quinn guy. I know a lot of people can disagree with me because he took the Falcons to the Super Bowl and everything, but you look at the defense, because he was hired to fix the defense here in Atlanta, and that never came to fruition at all. Like, we was always below average or worse under Dan Quinn, and I know from a coaching standpoint, because I used to coach the game, and like when you have a head coach and this guy is either offensive minded or defensive minded, and Pete Carroll was a defensive minded head coach.
Yeah.
And Dan Quinn was his assistant for the defense coordinator. And I'm like, And I knew this. Dan Quinn was never calling that defense in Seattle.
Yeah.
Like, I've been following Pete Carroll for years, even like before he was the head coach at USC. And USC had a top defense in the country in college football. And I'm like, Dan Quinn is not calling this defense. No. And we hired this man because of smoke and mirrors, because of they won the 2 Super Bowls, won one of them. And I'm like, I don't think this is going to be a good thing. But, as a Falcons fan, I kept my mouth shut. I just, because you know how the fan base is sometimes. You come out and you try to point out things and they'll ridicule you over it. So I just say, look, whatever happens, however the chips fall, You went to a Super Bowl, and I was this close to eating crow. In 2000 after the 2016 season, and like we fell short of the Super Bowl, and but that goes to show you how Matt Ryan has, stood the test of time with 2 head coaches, and like several doggone offensive coordinators.
Yeah,
like this man literally in putting up like Hall of Fame like stats.
Yeah.
That's why I've been trying to tell people, like, Matt Ryan is far from the problem. Like, this man had to really do so much with no support, no support at all, or the lack of support. You have a GM, you have a GM who doesn't know how to evaluate talent in the trenches, neither on defense. Only thing he knows is receivers.
No.
Like, but what's your take on? I know you wanted to say something, Cal. What's your Danny? Danny. I'm sorry. You Danny. Yeah.
I was just going to say, kind of echoing what you said about Dan Quinn. He comes from a defensive background, but he never shored up the defense. That makes no sense to me. Whether he's calling the shots or not at Seattle, you would have thought he'd at least have the experience to get that tied down and figure out what the problems were. But they were never long-term fixes. I know we drafted some players and signed some all right on free agents, but look at where most of the players that they signed in defense are now. They're not there, and they were never there. They were never permanent fixtures in the team at all. So it's a bit of a weird one. And I think that's probably part of the reason why we've moved on to more offensive-minded coach, because it's kind of not backfired as such, but why get a defensive coach if it's not going to improve your defense? You may as well just go all out and outscore the teams. It's more entertaining to watch, at least.
But not even just that. Look at what we did, though. We didn't hire a young defensive-minded guru as our DC. Because if you would have did that, 2 years, this man gonna be gone to greener pastures.
Yeah.
We hired someone who got Dean Pease out of retirement.
Yeah.
This man is not. Only way he's leaving is on his own will to just ride off in the sunset.
Yeah.
Right. Because I said this last year. I said, if we get an offensive minded head coach, I'll be fine with that.
Yeah.
But it needs to be somebody who calling the plays. Arthur Smith was calling the plays in Tennessee, and Trev was good, man. He said he felt that he felt the same way about Eric Bieniemy. And the off him calling offense, but Eric Bieniemy, and I told people he's not calling the offense; it's Andy Reid calling the offense. But I know in that Super Bowl, and I have good credible sources that Andy Reid allowed Eric Bieniemy more autonomy to call the game in the Super Bowl, which is the reason why they didn't really score a touchdown. And I tried to tell people Bieniemy was never calling the plays.
Yeah.
He was not calling the plays at all. But you hire somebody who calling the offense, which is a plus. So if we lose the OC, we still gonna have continuity on that side of the ball.
Yes.
The show's gonna run through Arthur Smith. Defense, you hired somebody who is a seasoned vet who's been there, who won 2 Super Bowls. Okay.
Yeah.
And he knows how to run defense.
Yes.
At worst, you would get an average defense with DMPs. At worst. Yeah, we have holes on the offense. Yeah, we have holes on the defensive side of the ball, and we don't have the talent, the high talent that we need. But I seen him turn like water to wine with some defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. I think going back to a few points really with Thomas Dimitroff going, I think if we had like one top 10 defense in the last 10, 12 years, which obviously isn't good enough. Matt Ryan's put numbers up every season, like we know, like everyone knows. But when your defense is not even getting a top 10, how do you expect him to get to Super Bowls all the time, or even get into the reaching the consistency of the playoffs? So I think with Dean Pease coming in, it's massive. It's like if he only takes us to like a 10th, like say a 10th or 11th defense, like you said, like average, quite good. Our offense is there, and because we've got a new coordinator and a new head coach who is offensively minded, it's only a positives to me. I think that's what we needed, and I think Pease is going to be massive this year. And I think, like you said, even if it's an average defense, it's still better than most years we've had. And our offense isn't bad. Our wide receiving core is one of the best in the league, without a doubt.
If we can hold teams to under 20 points, all right.
Yeah.
That right there is an average defense. And not give up too many yards. That's an average defense. Like that's all we need. If we can just, because we know with this offense, we can easily go out there most games and score 24 points or more.
Yeah, easy.
All right. That's not a problem. If you run the ball, you be more balanced, keep the opposing defense honest. Like we didn't do that under Dirk Cutter. We did that somewhat under Steve Sarkisian a little bit, especially in the 2018 season. Kyle Shanahan, yes, he was a good OC for, what we had. And you had a Matt Ryan. But at the same time, I try to tell people, like, Matt Ryan has made so many OCs so good to the point where when they go somewhere else, they are subpar worse as a head coach.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's absolutely spot on, really, because obviously Shanahan's done some amazing stuff, but does he look as good now as he did at the time when he was with us and Matt was carrying him and probably calling some of the plays on his own like he still does at the moment in time? He's not literally carrying teams on his own. That's all he's doing.
He's not, because the thing is, he went to a Super Bowl. Okay, yeah, he went to a Super Bowl, but he went to a Super Bowl with the number one defense in the league.
Yeah,
you have the number one defense in the league. You pretty much bound to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's the thing that's exciting about Pease. Like you said, it's not like we've brought someone new in that's going to go after a couple of years because another team scouts him and poaches him and says, we'll give you a better contract or give you a head coach spot. Dean Pease has said that he came out of retirement for Arthur Smith. So he's come out of retirement specifically to work with us, not just to be back in the league, just to work on this project. And that's really, really exciting. And
but they say offense wins games, but defense wins championships, which it proves. From our Super Bowl season, our defense was very good on that season. Throughout the last other 10, 12 years, our defense has been poor, but our offense has still been there, and we've not reached the playoffs all the time. So it proves that. Look at the Super Bowl the other day. Look at Tampa Bay's defense. It was unreal, let's be honest. They won that game. Tom Brady did what he needed to do, but they won that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that front, like that front seven of Tampa Bay, man, they Rick Kevin the whole game.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Whole game.
And I was going to say, like you said, Tom Brady was tidy, but that was it. He was just tidy. He did what he had to do. And Matt Ryan does more than he has to do. So put a good O-line in front of him, put a good defense on the other side of the ball, and it's a different team entirely. And that's what I don't get about people slating Matt Ryan all the time and just taking away what he's achieved so far. He could very easily have a ring on his finger already. So
He should have. But like going back to Tom Brady, and I don't want to go off script, but Tom Brady, he knew the situation before he signed with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay had a top 5 defense even last year.
yeah,
So he saw that he manipulated the situation. He saw Tampa Bay got a top 5 defense. And they got a good coaching staff because Bruce Arians is a good coach. Okay.
awesome.
And he saw, if I go here, they already got Mike Evans. They already got Chris Godwin. They have OJ Howard there.
Yeah.
They have somewhat of a near average offensive line.
Yeah.
So, what did I do? I signed with Tampa Bay. I bring Gronk with me. I try to get them to do a sign Leonard Fournette, and then you pick up the best tackle in the draft.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how you fix the offensive side of the ball right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they had more problems than we did, if that made sense, the season before last. Like, if you look at our team, our roster now, we've got less gaps to fill than they had, and they did it in one season. They literally turned from an under-average team to a Super Bowl team with a couple of draft picks and a couple of free agents, and there's no reason that we can't do that now. No reason at all.
And that's the thing. I looked at their there was a tweet that came out of the GM down there in Tampa Bay. He done hit on the past few years draft picks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm like, must be nice. we can't do that. Like for real. Like, we drafted Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley is good. Isaiah Oliver I just feel like he just have been a casualty of bad coaching. I think he can be a serviceable cornerback in this league. He has the skill set. It just we played him out of position. I'm not going to go through the whole 2018 draft class.
No.
We got Foye Oluokun on there. He's playing great.
Yeah.
2019, we drafted McGarry and Lindstrom in the first round. I never was a fan of Chris Morgan, the offensive line coach. Dude was just terrible. He does not know how to develop linemen.
Yeah.
The next pick we had, because we didn't have a second or a third round pick. We didn't have any day 2 picks that year. We drafted Kendall Sheffield.
Yeah.
Kendall Sheffield, and then Kaminsky. Those guys are still raw and young.
Very. Last
year we drafted AJ Terrell, Marlon Davidson. Like I said, like it's we have young guys here, and I've been trying to tell people just hold tight. Yeah. Let's see what Dean Pease can do with developing these guys. Because I can see a guy like John Kaminsky and Marlon Davidson be a good serviceable defensive end in the 3-4 system. We just need to get an outside linebacker opposite of Dante Fowler. I think we should just get Fowler another chance with another coaching scheme and see what he can do. We may not pay him after next year. We let him go on free agency, but still, let's see what he can do. We already paying the man anyway. You cut him, you're going to hit a dead cap anyway. So might as well.
Definitely. Because I think me and Danny, a lot of, especially the UCAP, or a lot of fans in general, we were disappointed with Fowler's production this year, but I think we've sort of slagged him off slightly. But
a little bit.
Like we said, we've got him for another year. We're paying him the money, and with a new coach coming in, you never know what can happen. He's obviously put up numbers. He's not put up numbers by fluke either. It's not like he's a bad player. So this year, with a new coach, could spark light into him. If he does perform, then anything can happen after that.
All right. Everybody in the chat, man, appreciate y'all joining us early this morning. Make sure y'all if y'all watching on Facebook or Periscope on Twitter, make sure y'all make y'all way on to our YouTube channel. It's much better over there. There's more people to engage with in the live chat. So just throwing that out there. If you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell. We do shows pretty much almost every day now, to the point that we don't want you to miss out on this great content. Appreciate you, Darius, man. Thank you, man. The only concern I have after listening to guys that cover the Ravens and Titans is Coach P's play that bend but don't break defense. But that's David, most coaches bend don't break. If we keep it in 100, like there's times I've seen the Patriots, Bill Belichick, one of the greatest defensive minds of this generation. He sometimes plays a bend but don't break defense. Keyword, don't break. Now we seen teams break. Yes, we did that here in Atlanta, but under Dan Quinn. But if you look at how the scheme we was running cover 3, is it flawed? Yes. But however, as a coach, you must adjust. If you getting cooked in one scheme, you need to make the adjustments like soon as you can, either at the end of the quarter or if you can make them on the fly. When your defense is on the sideline, the offense is out there, do that. But under Dan Quinn and Raheem Morris, did we do that? No. We stayed in that same scheme the whole game, and we died by it.
Yeah.
I completely
about Pease. He said he's going to bounce between a 3-4 and a 4-3, and he says he doesn't care how he plays or who plays where. There's just fundamentals that he's going to have to going to make his plays stick to. So he's experienced enough and versatile enough to be able to bounce between different setups to cater for each team. And he's been in the league so long for a reason. He's probably well aware of what he's walking into and what gaps he needs to fill and everything like that. So I wouldn't be too concerned.
He's never been fired. That's the thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
So he ain't never been fired. He never, that's the thing. Like, he never been fired. So he's doing his job.
Yeah.
He done worked under Nick Saban and Bill Belichick. Come on now, like those, and then John Harbaugh. Like those guys, Harbaugh, Saban, and Belichick. These guys has won championships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
I think that's spot on. I think that's completely spot on. I think with Arthur Smith as well, he's not. They've gone through so many staff through the Titans in so many years, but he's always been kept on. He's one guy who's been kept on.
Yeah.
So you don't just keep someone on because just leave him there. He's obviously proved the point. Everyone likes him, so that is a massive, massive thing. Well, I think some people are missing out. Really, I think that's a massive thing.
Exactly. I was gonna bring that up too. Go ahead, Danny.
No, I was just gonna say it's a huge thing considering he's 38 and that's all taken place over the last 6 or 7 years, give or take. So he's been very, very young throughout this process, yet they've still stuck with him, even though he's brand new to it all. So he's clearly taking to stuff very quickly and very adaptable because he's had a few different roles whilst he's been there. So I think we're going for the people that we've brought in are all safe in terms of they're not going to do anything absolutely extraordinary. I don't think they're just going to do what needs to be done to tie us through this first season. I'd take a positive wins to loss ratio this year. I'm not expecting a Super Bowl. If we got that far, it'd be awesome. But I think they need to steady the ship a little bit, get some good free agents in, have a solid draft, and then build on what we already have. But it might take a year for them to see what we need. But I don't think that's a problem. I think we are a little bit win now mode, but that's only because Matt Ryan and Julio are coming to the end a little bit. I think this is a long-term project just with a little bit of win now in the back of the mind, really.
If you think about it, Arthur Smith is not a patient person. Not Arthur Smith, Arthur Blank is not a patient.
Yeah.
Darius, hit me up, man, on Facebook. Follow me back. Or I'll set you up, man. I'd love to have you on the show, man. But you look at, we never been in rebuild mode with this man. The situation with Vic, did that set us back? Yes. But it wasn't a point to rebuild. You just lost your quarterback.
Yeah.
You lost your quarterback. How you do that? What you do? You draft the quarterback. Draft Matt Ryan, best quarterback in 2008. And then you build upon that by drafting guys like Julio. You added Tony G to the roster.
Yeah.
Michael Turner, another person, unsung hero, early in the Matt Ryan era. But the thing is, we added talent on the defensive side of the ball. Some of that talent did not pan out.
No.
So that goes back to, Thomas Dimitroff and guys like Ray Edwards and all these guys contracts, and these guys just wet it to bed.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
I think that's I think that's another point with I think Thomas Dimitroff drafting first round, especially defensive ends, etc. Obviously not really gone to plan, but I think a lot of people are like, oh, we don't want to do that again. But people need to realise it is a new. Thomas Dimitroff isn't here anymore. It's a new GM. It's a new head coach.
Yeah.
They know what they're looking at. They know what players we've got. I get why. Obviously, it's going to be in people's minds like, oh, all our first round picks on defense in the last few years have been not been very successful. You could say, maybe one-off seasons, but it's a new start. I think you've got to get behind the new coaches and then let them take over.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Going back to what you said, Danny, about the identity. Like the first year, I'm not worried about making the Super Bowl.
No.
Like first year, you need to install your identity in.
Yeah.
Whatever you're gonna do, whatever scheme you're gonna run, do it. And do not switch up.
No.
Stick to it and install it with these players that you have now, or players you bringing in. I told people, if we miss the playoffs, but I see and I look at every category, offense, defense, special teams, and I look at we improved in every category, I can't be mad.
Absolutely.
No fan should be mad because you see that, oh, man, we average defense now. Last year we was ranked 30th or 31st.
Absolutely. I think, sorry, I was just going to say, I think if we get the average defense, if we stop Matty getting sacked 40 plus times like he has done from the last 3 years consecutively, and if we can just put up decent numbers and show a bit more mentality in terms of like when games get close, don't bottle it, don't struggle, don't think we've lost this, because that's definitely what happened last season. We were better than half of the teams that we lost to on the field at the time. But then when it got close, everybody's heads just went, nope. And they didn't know how to play anymore. And they've forgotten everything. I just want to see one more, and an expansive playbook. Because I'm sure Cotter's playbook was about 4 moves long. And it wasn't enough.
He had a big playbook. But the thing is, he just
didn't use it.
His game plan, his playbook is huge. But his game plan probably it was one sheet of paper.
It literally was every time. If Julio was on, it was throw to Julio all the time, regardless of who's on him and how it's positioned. And if he wasn't on, it was just pray for the best and fling it every single time.
Yeah. I think next year the biggest thing would be is like if the first 2 up to 3 games, if we've got a big lead and nothing happens and you go on to win it, I think that's a mental thing that they've beat from last year. We know what happened several times last year with blowing leads, etc. So I think if the first 2 games you get a big lead and end up winning it, I think that's a mental thing straight in a lot of the players' minds. Would be like, we've done it now. We've not done that. We've gone off it. But I think people also need to realise that we wasn't a 4-12 team last year. There's so many games. I think there's 4 games we should have won, like extra. So you're looking at 8 wins. But then even the games where we lost and they was ahead, there's only like 1 or 2 scores in some of them. So it wasn't we didn't get battered every game we lost.
There's 8 games we lost. 8 games we lost. It was like we lost because of one. It was like 1 touchdown or a field goal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You add that to the 4 wins. That's what we 12-4. That's the playoffs.
Exactly.
But the team there, the team where we have is not a bad team at all. I think a lot of fans need to realise that. I know that we've ended up 4 wins, etc. But with new coaches coming in.
Hey, thank you, Cal, for saying that, because I'm sick and tired of people saying that this is a bad team. It's not a bad team.
No, it's not.
We have holes. We have holes on defense. I get that. I get it. But the offense, we don't like left guard and a running back.
Yeah,
that's all you really need. And you may want to give it to a tight end to compensate with Hayden Hurst.
Yeah.
But you don't need no high caliber tight end as a second tight end on the depth chart. You just need somebody and I feel like we got Jaden Graham.
Yeah.
Jaden Graham can be that guy. It just he wasn't utilized. None of our tight ends were utilized the right way at all. But like I said, the team, I feel like it's just been poorly coached. poorly coached, and you can just look at it. You can look at the side on the sideline. The players just, we get down. They know what's going to happen. They know that the game plan has been flawed, has failed them to begin with.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just happy that we hired a guy like Arthur Smith who knows how to score in the red zone.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people didn't like the hire because some people wanted Eric Bieniemy or they wanted who else they wanted. Oh, so I see some people say something about, we should have hired Doug Peterson from Philly. I'm like, look now, y'all wanted an offensive-minded head coach. I wanted Doug Martin for Baltimore. That's who I wanted. But I said, okay, if we get an offensive-minded coach, two people I would like is Arthur Smith or Brian Dabble from Buffalo. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't want nobody else because I know what those two guys can bring to the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we hired Arthur Smith, I know some people was upset about it or whatnot, but I'm like, this guy is calling the plays. He knows what he needs. He knows what we need to do. Yes, we know he's not bringing Derrick Henry with him, but you can draft a running back, who can be not like a Derrick Henry, but he can give you somewhat of more production because we need to get back to that run game. We need to be more balanced. And I try to tell people about Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan can't throw the deep ball no more. His arm ain't strong. I'm like, well, the games that y'all watching, the games that we watching, we seeing Matt Ryan throw the ball 45 to 50 times in the game.
Yeah.
And I tell people, once you go out there, you throw 50 passes. Not just going in the open field throwing it. All right, we talking about 50 passes when you getting lit up by defenders.
Yeah. Absolutely. Getting sacked 4 or 5 times a game by people that weigh 20 plus stone and he's just stood there static and they're moving at him. It's going to hurt. Exactly. It's going to put an effect on you.
And that you just said sacks. I was talking about hits.
Well,
talking about like after the ball has been delivered.
Oh, no.
Exactly. Triple it, quadruple it. It's like 20 times a game, if not more.
Yeah, that's what I try to tell people. Like it's y'all just seeing the game live. I go back and I watch the film. I'm like, dang, man, Matt Ryan getting lit up, and he's still putting the ball where it needs to go to his receivers most of the time. Yeah. And then that's why I try to tell people, like, less is more. When you ask your quarterback to do less, the more production you will get out of him.
Yes.
This is why we said that we need a run game and have Matt Ryan don't have him throw more than 35 times a game.
Yeah. The perfect example of that is the Super Bowl. Mahomes was asked to do everything on the field. Everything. He had no one covering him, and look what happened. 0 production whatsoever because everything was expected of him, and that's exactly what we've been doing to Matty. Our O-line wasn't horrendous all of last season. It was just like patches where we like crumbled for full games and stuff. It wasn't consistently poor. It was just like during games every now and again.
Anytime Matt Ryan got sacked most of the time, it was because we was looking for the deep ball down the field. Yeah. Or nobody was open. I literally saw some games like 80% of the time the receivers could not get open at all. And you got to understand how to when you play against like I just don't get it. And I'm tired of talking about Dirk Cutter. This is my last time I'm tell you about this man. Like I don't even think he watched the opposing defenses on film before game plan.
No.
He just went out there, okay, well, we're gonna do this and hope for the best. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. There's a few times where I seen the 3 wide receivers on the pitch ended up in the same bit. It's like what?
Exactly. Each other.
Yeah, just because everyone's going to run there, so you got 3 wide receivers in one bit. It's like, well, what kind of play call is that? To be fair, but like you said, I think if our running game improves, Matt Ryan improves straight up.
Yeah,
they both improve. Our offense will be on fire.
And like you said earlier, I know Smith isn't bringing Henry along with him, and you're probably not going to find another Henry anywhere, even in the draft, in the league, anywhere. But Arthur Smith's accepted that. He said that he's going to play football to cater to what he has, not what he wants to play like. So he's not going to try and replicate the Titans style with us. He's going to use what we have. We've got better receivers. We've got a better quarterback. Titans are, obviously they were a good team, but they were not a brilliant bunch of players. I mean, man for man, we are miles better than them on the offense.
He had smart guys on there. Like they physical,
Yeah.
but they're smart. And I don't know if y'all saw the interview yesterday when he went on the Van Pelt show. He said he loves smart players.
Yeah.
Like I would take a smart player over athletic player any day of the week.
Yeah, right place at the right time instead of having to graft another 20 yards and stuff like that. And I think, you know what I think that'll actually help Ridley a little bit, because I absolutely love Ridley, but he's got this weird thing where he just tries to stay on his feet all the time for an extra yard, but half the time he ends up running like 20 yards sideways and ending up going in circles. I love the guy, and I think he's stunning.
Oh,
Like, such a good player, but I just think he's like someone like that that's going to say, no, you need to be here at that time and perfect your skills a little bit. I think it's going to do him the world of good. WR1. Yeah.
I think that's the same with, I think if we use Hayden Hurst, like when Hayden Hurst and Matt Ryan connected last year, they connected quite well. But we didn't use, there's some games where he hardly threw it to Hurst, like rarely, like sometimes one or two to him. I think if we use him more, like we have a better backup behind him, or like utilise him more, I think Hayden Hurst could be. I think he did all right this season. For his first season, it wasn't a bad season at all. I think next year, if we utilise him even more, he could have a big season.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think you got to remember that's his first year of actually playing football, like every snap. He's not had that yet. He's been a second, third, fourth like position in tight end. So that was his first proper year of being able to break out and show what he's got on a regular basis.
He was asked to block more in Baltimore because of Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And Lamar Jackson, I don't want to get into Lamar Jackson, but I think he's a great athlete as far as when it comes to quarterback play. Yeah. He's not that good, man. Like I've tried to tell this to people, and people want to, he is good. He's better than Matt Ryan. I'm like,
yeah.
All right. Well, but Matt Ryan would have played for the Ravens. The Ravens probably would have been in the Super Bowl because they held teams to, on average, 13 points. 13 points. Their defense held 13 points. All right. And you telling me that you can't score a touchdown? You can score like 2 touchdowns.
It's a controversial one for me because I actually quite like him, but I know what you mean. I do know what you mean.
I like him too, but I'm just saying, like, far as quarterback play, like, it just I just don't think he's there. Can he get there? He could if he has the right OC.
He's got to change He's got to change slightly his style though, because it's like obviously quarterbacks can last to the 40. Look at Brady. Look at Matt Ryan's 35. Ben Roethlisberger, etc. He can last till, but the way he plays now, he won't make 35 because of the way he's playing. He's getting hit like a running back at times, and look how running backs don't go. They go 31, 32, some of them. So after that, the production's less. So he's got to change his style for him to become consistent, but not be injured.
I think that's something that we'll see in the NFL at the minute. Obviously, all the hype is around like dead mobile quarterbacks, but their lifespan, like you just said, their lifespan in the game is so short compared to someone like Matt Ryan and Brady and Breeze and anyone that's more static. I think it'll come back around. I think these will have one full cycle and everybody will see how short their careers are compared to a tidy quarterback that just throws it deep and throws it in the pocket and it'll change back.
I've been saying this, man. I have been saying this. Like look, man. Trev, look. We seen Matt Ryan. Take Julio out. Look at 2013. Julio didn't even play. All right, and Roddy wasn't even. I think Roddy was hurt most of that season too. And we made Harry Douglas a 1,000-yard receiver that year.
Yeah.
So look, it doesn't matter. I understand. Yes, having weapons or whatever is important, but at the same time, if you have a quarterback who can go out there and throw dimes to a receiver, it doesn't matter the talent of that receiver. Like, only thing they got to do is catch the ball.
Yeah,
that's it. But I've seen on film that Lamar Jackson is inaccurate. He throwing the ball. Like, look at the Buffalo the game they had in Buffalo. That game they had against the Bills.
Yeah.
He threw it right to the Buffalo defender and ran it back for a pick six.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why, even though, it is probably more exciting every now and again to watch a mobile quarterback, because you do get a bit of a buzz when they do a turn and run through themselves and that. I'd rather have consistency. And as long as your O-line in front of your quarterback's tidy, all your other players, all your wide receivers and your tight ends, all they've got to do is know how to catch. You don't have to be like you said earlier, you don't have to be an unbelievable athlete. You don't have to be an unbelievable player. You can be an average player with a decent footballing brain, and you're set. You're absolutely set as long as the quarterback's top quality.
Exactly.
You can obviously coach them into it. Like, you do a lot of the coaching in obviously college and high school, etc. But if you look at, I fucking hate mentioning it, but you look at Brady, and he was a fifth round pick, sixth round pick, and I don't want to go on to him too much. But I mean, he can be there. There is quarterbacks. Was it Watson? Was he drafted? Was he drafted in the fourth? Or was that mine getting that wrong?
Talking about Wilson?
Or was it Wilson?
Wilson was drafted in, I think, in the third round.
Yeah, so even it's only a couple of rounds later, but it's not a first round pick, so it can work. And I'm not having me and Danny the same point. We're not for drafting a quarterback in the first round this year.
The thing is about Wilson being drafted in the third round because of his height. He was short.
Yeah.
And like that's the problem. But everybody's not seeing that these short quarterbacks, they can actually play. They can, they might not see over these big linemen, but they can get out the pocket and, make the throws. But and this is why you see a guy like Kyler Murray went first overall, in 2019. So yes, like we said, like sometimes the league does evolve, but sometimes it always go back to square one.
Yeah.
The constant has always been you have a quarterback stay in the pocket and make the reads to make the throws.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So let's talk about Terry Fortno. The GM. I think he's been in a good staff. He brought in Kyle Smith from Washington. He also brought in Dwayne from Baltimore. Tell me how you guys feel about the GM. And we just got news that we brought in another guy from Houston. He's been there since 2007. I know a lot of people, man, Houston trash. I'm like, he's been there since 2007. You look at the history of the Texans. Back then, they were their glory days. Did they make the Super Bowl? No. They was always a constant in the AFC South to make the playoffs either as a wild card or winning that division.
Yeah. I think Terry's a great acquisition. I think taking him off a rival's a stunning role, like a stunning bit of movement, because eventually he was going to be there. Obviously, he wasn't actually their GM, was he? He was part of the back team staff.
He was the pro personnel.
There we go, exactly. But so you see at some point he would have probably evolved into that role of their own, and you can see some of the work that he's contributed towards. So I'm excited. I mean, he's got his work cut out for him because he's got a terrible, terrible situation with our cap to walk into. In your first year, you want loads of free space so you can go out, get who you want, draft who you want, and get all your free agents in. But he's going to have a hard first year, I think. But I'm excited for what he's going to do, because whether we like them or not, our not so friendly neighbours have made some brilliant signings over the years. So hopefully he can bring that to us a little bit.
Appreciate you, JB. His name Chris Olsen, the guy from Houston.
Yes. Well, same for Danny, really. I think it's I'm excited about it. We spoke in his the press conference he did. Obviously, he's saying the right things, what you want to hear anyway. But I like the bit about what Smith and him have said is like the accountability.
Yeah.
Like, it don't matter if you're on £40 million or 500 grand. If you're not producing, you won't be in the team basically for that week. If you're not producing, we'll put other players in who deserve their spot. I don't care if you're on whatever wage you're on. Yeah. I think that was the main bit. I think that's what's not happened in the past.
Yeah, we done had so many people. It's like, I'm not saying the players are entitled, but we've seen coaches just continue to have players out there that keep sticking it up. And I've seen Arthur Smith. This man had benched the Titans franchise quarterback, Marcus Mariota, who they drafted second overall in 2015. All right. Benched him for Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
All right. Ryan Tannehill, pretty much, the rest is history. So, I'm not saying, everybody say, oh, he benched the quarterback and he gonna come over here and do the same thing with Matt Ryan. I'm like, look, y'all. Like Marcus Mariota, Matt Ryan. Come on, let's keep a spade a spade. Okay?
Levels.
But the thing is, appreciate you, David, man. Yeah, my audience, man, they love you, man. Y'all go, they got a YouTube channel too, so make sure y'all go subscribe to their YouTube channel as well. They put out great content. They have on a lot of great guests. You guys need to follow these guys and make sure you go sub to them.
Yeah, thank you, David. It's good to be on. It's good to be on. We're ATL Falcons UK. If anyone does want to go and look at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, anything like that.
I'm typing in. There we go. All right. So, and that's the thing. Like, we'll, if say for instance, Jake Matthews not playing well, all right, well, sit him and have somebody else out there. And if he's doing better than Jake Matthews, you keep rolling with him. Like, it doesn't matter if Jake Matthews getting paid more money. Like, that doesn't matter. The matters is we trying to win. We trying to win games.
Yeah.
So, now I know this off season, this free agency is going to be kind of I ain't gonna say a blur, but right now I know we don't have money. I'm really interested to see how we're gonna try to manipulate our cap situation to bring anybody here.
Yeah.
What's y'all thoughts on that?
Go on, Cal. You can go first, but I've got an idea.
It's gonna be it's gonna be a bit of a weird one now because we're proper into it. Like I've been the last couple of years, but I think with the cap space, it's like it's we don't know what, because it's a completely new scheme, new everything. Whole club franchises change kind of. You don't know where we're gonna go. It's like if you get certain players in free agency now, you obviously might do a different thing in the draft. But like you said, with the money space, it's I think everyone doesn't know. I think last year you sort of knew what positions we sort of needed. We needed a tight end because Hooper was leaving. We needed a running back because Freeman left. So you sort of know. But I think especially the running back, I think we will do that in the draft because I think Smith will want his guy, he'll want to nurture his guy, he'll want to make a guy from the draft his. But free agency wise, it could go either way because there's not a lot there. But we do need is it 32 players that are signed on? I think we might sign a few on cheap contracts, but we are 20 odd players down.
All
I need is Koo to be announced. Koo's
not. I don't think Koo's not going anywhere. We're going to keep Koo.
Oh, definitely.
We may keep some backups on. I saw who I saw in there. Like, we may keep a guy like. I don't think we keep Tyler Davidson. That to me, that's
I can see we're keeping that Mariner. I think we'll keep Mariner.
Mariner, that's the person. Yeah, we'll probably keep somebody like him.
No contract.
Yeah, you can sign him to a cheap deal.
Yeah.
He played well this year. It ain't like he flew off the charts to anything like that. So
yeah. Well, one thing I'd be interested to see is, and I'm not brilliant with cap space and things like that and how it all works out because I'm pretty new to it, but I see that Big Ben from the Steelers said he's willing to restructure his contract to cater for the Steelers for one last year. And I know Matt Ryan's already restructured his a handful of times over the years, but I was thinking, I wonder if anyone on a large contract would be willing to take a little bit of a hit, to put the team first instead of themselves. I don't know how likely it is or how possible it is, but it'd be good to see some people step forward and say, I want to be successful with this team. I'm willing to restructure myself so that we can bring the best players on board so I've got the best players around me, because surely that's what every single one of them wants.
We can probably restructure right now, looking at the big contracts. Jake Matthews, I think you probably ask him to restructure. You can definitely ask Brady and Debo or both of them to
Yeah.
restructure their contract. You also got to take into consideration about Calvin Ridley. What do you want to do with him? He's still on his rookie
Yeah.
deal, but I think he's got to come up to his 50th option.
Yeah.
So that right there is going to be interesting on how we can like maneuver but the thing is when you restructure these guys, they not taking a pay cut. And I want
No,
everybody to understand. I know y'all know, but they're not taking a pay cut. What we're doing is we're kicking their money, we're backloading it.
Yeah.
So when you backload a guy like Matt Ryan, you ask this man to restructure every single year. Well, the bill's gonna come soon, and you have to pay this man. So like I'd rather us not restructure Matt Ryan, just pay him what he needs to be paid.
Yeah.
But you can restructure a guy like Grady and Debo because I don't think we ever asked these guys to restructure.
Yeah.
And that'll open up some more money. So and then we can do post June 1st cuts, with some of these players on the staff. On the roster. So it's all gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
But the draft, which has been man, it's a war zone on social media with Falcons Twitter, man.
Yeah.
What's y'all take on that 4th overall draft pick?
My head says draft the best possible available at 4th because that's a franchise-changing player. But then my heart kind of says we don't need that now. We're all right for quarterback. We've got our key positions like your wide receivers and stuff. So I'm thinking maybe trade back a little bit and get a bit more of a haul. I still want a pretty high pick. I still want a top 12, top 10, well, top 10 probably pick, but I want more as well because we've got a lot of work to do this draft to fill all these little gaps that we have. So I'm going with trade back.
Darius, okay, good. I'm on that train too. Darius, I don't think Rico's done, man. I don't think he's coming back. Cal, what's your take?
Yeah, I'm the same. It's like it's a bit of a dodge. I'm definitely for the trade back because I think the positions we need and I think the players we need we can get at maybe 10 or 9, 10, 11, or even if you drop, if you trade back even to 6, there's teams that will give you a lot if they want. If there's a quarterback on that page at our 4th pick and we don't want him, there's teams that will give a lot for him. So I think anything from 6 to 12, if we can still, well, you can't say if, but if we could still get the man we want. But then I'm looking at also a running back, but not for the first pick, but in the 2nd round, and then there's a chance of drafting back late into the 1st round to get a running back as well if we get our first man. I think that's another thing because I think Arthur Smith will want his own running back.
Yeah,
I think that could happen, but I'm all for trading back and demanding a lot because I think teams will give it.
Yeah, it's teams out there who need a quarterback. So trade with them, get as much draft capital from them as you possibly can. You can get a 2nd, 3rd round pick. You possibly can get a 6th round pick, and then you probably can ask for a 1st or 2nd for next year's draft.
Yeah.
And you stay somewhere. I'm with you, Danny. Stay somewhere in the teens with the draft pick. I feel like you get the best defensive player available.
Yeah.
Whether it's a safety or a pass rusher, and then you go in the 2nd round, you get another. If you address the safety position in the 1st round, all right, 2nd round you have to get a running back. You have to get either a guard or a pass rusher. Then in the 3rd round, we need a nose tackle. I feel like you get the best nose tackle. I like this guy named Tyler Shelvin from LSU, big monster of a man. This man is very, very, very athletic for his size. He's over, I think, 350 pounds. That's what we need on our D line. Especially if we go into a 3-4, you need a bigger guy in the middle as a nose tackle between Grady Jarrett and Kaminsky or Marlon Davidson. So that's where I'm at right now. I've been doing draft prospect shows on Thursdays Just highlighting like different draft picks who the Falcons could potentially draft. Right now, on the important need for me is pass rush. And after that, safeties, because we don't have any safeties no starting safeties at all.
No.
And then you have nose tackle, running back, and then you need a left guard. So we'll see how they want to maneuver in the draft and see who they're gonna get. Like I said, like I'll be happy, even if they want to stay at 4 and they want to get a guy like Penny Sewell. I love Penny Sewell. He's a generational talent, so you can't go wrong drafting at 4. But if we drafting at 4 and getting the quarterback just to sit behind Matt Ryan, like I'll understand it. But at the same time, like why are we doing this to ourselves? And we know that we need, if we're trying to still win now, why are we making a move like that? Because if we draft a quarterback just to sit, then I already know, okay, Matt Ryan Day's a number, but I already know that this is going to be like a long build for what we really want to do in the long run.
I think it's unnecessary drama as well. I'll let Cal go in a sec, but I think it's unnecessary drama because if you get one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks that there are coming out of college this year, that implies that you want him to play within another year or 2. And I know we can't think too far ahead, but how many years has Matt got left in him? Because he's definitely got more than 1 year left in him. Fact.
I think, man, you build a line and get him a run game, he can play 5 or 6 more years.
This is what I mean. Exactly. So, I'd like some of the players that are coming in to be there if we didn't have Matt now, but we do. And I know people are saying we need to think of the future, but how far in the future are we thinking? It's pointless planning getting a quarterback if he's not going to play for 3-4 years because he's going to be long gone by then. And there's not many people that are out there that are going to overtake Matt, like ability-wise, anytime soon, unless you're changing your style of play and you do want a mobile quarterback instead. But I can't see it. I can't see why any GM or head coach would come in and have the balls to go, no, we don't want Matt Ryan anymore. Like as of next year, I think that'd be risky because then if everything goes wrong, that's the reason. Everybody would say you got rid of Matt Ryan, you've got no other defense, have you? Then so
I completely agree. I think if you're drafting a quarterback, you'd usually draft a quarterback when your quarterback's not performing. Like when he's had, say, 2 good seasons where he's not performing. He was pretty good last year. Well, I'm not saying he was amazing last year, but the season before he was good and he was still pretty good. You're bringing a quarterback in. I think if they get a quarterback at 4, the instant reaction of certain fans would be like, oh yeah, we wanted a quarterback. But then I'm looking at it like we're now building for the future. We've got Julio Jones. We've still got a good team and we can win. We can do well in the next year or the next 2 years with Matt Ryan. If you get a quarterback, Matt Ryan's got 2 years max, and that's max. You put in the other quarterback in next year. If you're using a 4th round pick, most likely. But then it's not. Then we're not. Then the defense isn't instantly improved. We're not building for now. We're building for the future. The team is still good enough to do well now. That's how I see it.
And that's the thing. If Arthur Smith, if he wants to keep his job, he knows what's wrong with this. He knows he's not dumb. He knows what's wrong with this team. Defense. Drive your defensive guys and build off that. You want to keep, because if you draft a quarterback, okay, we're not getting it, like you just said, Cal. We're not getting better on the defensive side of the ball. So your probability of making the playoffs is definitely slim enough because you didn't even pick the best defensive player when you had the chance to. And people keep saying new regime come in. They draft a quarterback. That's not. It's somewhat true, but it's also false. It's twofold.
Yeah.
Like we seen teams that had new regimes. Look at the 49ers back in 2017. They could have drafted Mitch Trubisky, Pat Mahomes, and Deshaun Watson. They drafted Solomon Thomas 3rd overall. All right. Yeah. You look at a team like who was this? The 2018 Colts. They drafted doggone Quinn Nelson.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
that's the thing. Like, just because a new regime comes in doesn't mean that they have to draft a quarterback. They don't sometimes. They know the probability of a quarterback does not equate to success. So what they do is they draft the best player, that they actually need. They look at analytics. They're like, okay, well, Andrew Luck got sacked so many times in his career. Let's just see. Let's plug in an offensive line, the best offensive lineman we can find in this draft,
Yep.
and let's see what can happen. And guess what? He played better. Andrew Luck played better because of Quentin Nelson.
Yeah. I think something that people are forgetting when they say that everybody gets a new quarterback in is not every team's got a future Hall of Fame quarterback on the cards either. A lot of teams just have all right quarterbacks that are replaceable. Matt Ryan's not easily replaceable. I mean, everybody is replaceable, but not easily. Like, it would take a hell of a player to step in and just take him out of the game, like, first season in. Not many people are coming out of college and performing at his level in the first season at all. Not even close.
You don't want you draft a quarterback. Look at Burrow. He's now injured for a year because his O-line. Our O-line's not as bad as theirs. I'm just saying, like, if we had a young quarterback behind our O-line, he would get still sacked 40 odd times, I think, at the moment, or hopefully less this year. But you don't want that. You don't want a new rookie quarterback getting hit 40 odd times in his first season, or even next year if it's not good enough. But also, my other point was if you're drafting the quarterback now, it's like, but the fans who want to draft the quarterback will then want instant success, but they'll still want the instant success, a lot of them, but we won't get it straight away because Matt Ryan will still be playing most of this year if he performs.
Yeah.
And then you've not drafted a defensive. So they'll moan that we've not got our defense hasn't improved, but they'll probably blame Matt Ryan somehow for it.
They blame them next year.
I don't get it. Like, the same fans will complain either way. I don't get it. Like, we all want instant success now. But we know it still can be a slight rebuild, but we know we can do it now. We could perform. Anything can happen. The team's not bad. It's just one of them. But I think overall, I don't think anyone knows. And that's why I think it's going to be quite a crazy draft because I think no one knows where we could go. Could go a kicker. Never know.
Terry's keeping his cards close to his chest, isn't he? He's not giving anything away to us, which is good. Like you said, it keeps it exciting, and it means that teams can't cater, like, bend their drafts to stop us improving where we need to and things like that. So
and that's how you're supposed to do it. Terry Cardinal, he's a smart man, and like everybody said, well, he came out and said best player available, so that means we get a quarterback. No, that doesn't mean that. Look, and I tell people, like, some of y'all, I can tell y'all ain't never played poker or cards before because you don't tell people what you have in your hand. You don't tell people your next move. Like, you say something that they're gonna say, well, we're gonna pick the best player available. So teams that figure after us, they like, oh man, they gonna pick somebody we want. So guess what? When we sitting at 4 on draft night, and you got teams that's desperate to try to get in that top 5, we gonna say, oh, do y'all really want this person? Okay, we'll trade, but we want this pick, this pick, this pick, that pick. Oh yeah, we want another pick for next year too. If you want our 4th overall draft pick.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I think that's where we messed up last year. Everybody got the heart set on a certain cornerback, and then we got AJ, and AJ's been great for us, but he wasn't the name that anybody wanted. He wasn't in the top 5 names that anybody wanted at cornerback for us. And then look what he's done now. So everybody just needs to stay calm and just accept that they know what they're doing. I mean, they're paid a hell of a lot more money than we are from our sofas and armchairs and sports bars or wherever you're watching it from.
I can trust a Terry Fortner over Thomas Dimitroff because the draft the Saints has been doing the past several years have been working, and ours have been more misses than hits. So
definitely. I think either way, whoever we draft, I'll be, if it's a quarterback, I'm not going to slag it off. I'll be like, oh, we've got a quarterback. It is what it is. We'll build for the future. I'll get behind whichever player we draft. I think some people don't. If we end up trading back and still get good picks, some fans won't be happy and they'll slag it off. But I'm a fan, and I want success. I want success now. I want success in 5 years' time as well.
Yeah.
But whoever gets picked every round, you've just got to back them. Look at 8 people. What Danny said, people didn't back AJ. This year he's performed. Started off slow, but he's performed throughout, and he's only going to get better.
Yep. And we've got players from last year's draft that haven't really had a chip in this year. So Marlon Davidson was the player that I was most excited for, and he's not even he's barely had a snap on the field yet because of COVID, because of bits of injuries, because of a bit of everything. So you've got to remember, you've got players like that coming back into the mix as well, on top of what we draft this year. So I think we should be excited and just let it all happen.
Yep. Let the cards fall where they're gonna fall at. That's the thing, you know. But I'm excited. I'm excited at what's gonna end up happening this off season. So everybody just got to get ready because this team is gonna look. I ain't gonna say way different, but I say 2022, this team is gonna look way different from what
No doubt.
used to see. And people got to think too. This is a new regime. New culture. And we're going to start our new identity on how we're going to play football. So thank you guys so much for coming on. Once again, let everybody know where they can find y'all at.
So we're ATL Falcons UK. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We've got our own merch out now. So if you like our shows, you can buy yourself a T-shirt or a cap and things like that. But yeah, go find us and we'll follow you back straight away or subscribe back, whatever you're on.
All right. And everybody in the chat, thank y'all for joining us earlier this morning. I appreciate it. Y'all sitting at y'all, drinking coffee or whatever. Or if y'all watching over there across the pond, thank y'all for tuning in this afternoon after y'all lunch. So I really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this content out with Atlanta Sports Fanatics. Hit us up in the comment section. As always, come holler at your hometown sports podcast. I'm gonna chop it up with these guys after the end of the show. So one more time, you guys, thank y'all again.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Absolutely loved it once again.
All right. And this has been the Done here on Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast with another episode of the Dun's Favor. Y'all have a great morning, a great Saturday. I'll see y'all later. Peace.
See you later.